learned to an election. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a little, but I still reinvest it. Fear how I feel, then you feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold it down, we gon' get it. Working.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got your Watchlist coming in on August 6, 2020, and the stock market is going to hit all-time highs. It actually already hit that on the NASDAQ. We have this up here instead of the SP 500 today, but the SP 500 itself, it's not really too far behind. You're pretty close, a little bit of a distance, but this means something. But now I also have an update for TLT. So we're coming into the end of this week. Earnings are wrapping up. We still have one more big day tomorrow, but you're seeing some of the companies a lot like last week. You're seeing the continuations from the big kahuna last week, the Fed, all of that. But a few things are happening now. Bond yields are moving. If you guys have been watching gold and silver, I want to talk about that. Silver has been very surprising. But now finally the Congress thing, we have all those updates. It's leading us all into this again. We're at August, so the markets are at an interesting point, hitting these new highs or coming near it for the S&P. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity and risk at the same time. So I hope you're ready, but let me not get ahead of myself. I got the keys. I got the plays. We got everything we're looking at for tomorrow, the plays we made for today and all that. So you guys know what you need to do. Drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. It's the first link in the description and it is pinned in the comments. We better see you there in the morning. It's free 99. It costs you nothing to join. YouTube.com/the stock market. You can post the plays, see the plays, and yes, we have a different kind of childcare, so you can put your kids in our Twitch chat. I mean, it's hard to explain, but maybe this whole stock serious thing just isn't for you. And if you put it on Twitch, it just makes you feel more comfortable. I don't know, but we love all of you. Shout out to Colt. And the most important thing you need to do, post your watchlist below. That's what you're looking at. Got any plays, comments, remixes, anything, post them below and source that info. Shout out to Cole. I love you guys. I love you. God bless you. We just had too much fun today, so hopefully we see you on stream tomorrow. But right off the bat, few things I want to talk about. I'm going to bring up silver, which I don't have up here, but it's important, but the dollar. So right now we're hitting all-time highs on the NASDAQ. You guys have seen what's happened with tech. If some of you are asking why, what is the reason why this has happened? Think 3 months ago in the beginning of COVID. I mean, think about how people were even reacting socially. In the middle of March, it was an interesting time. I mean, it's not too long ago. You could put yourself in the shoes. We all experienced it. So economists, estimates, companies itself, even the government, even the president, his advisors, a lot of people thought it was going to stay bad for a long time or stay bad, or simply they did not know what was going to happen. So we had all of this stimulus, we had stuff happen, and things reacted a little bit better than most people were expected, or maybe people were just very, very fearful. Whatever you decide or whatever you have determined, it doesn't really matter, but point is, it ended up being a lot better than most people expected. So things are going good. Now on the fundamental level, even when we're looking at with the economic side, the macro, or even the longer term effects, this is where now the dollar, bonds, and the famous TLT comes into play. So I know a lot of you are interested in that, but it makes sense. Even today, we've been seeing higher and higher highs on the market. You've been seeing the UUP play get clapped. Yes, I'm still watching it, still waiting. This is part of it, but pretty much this inflationary cycle, all of the stimulus, it's hitting. It slaps. And pretty much right now, it's the dollar's turn. So it's the dollar's turn to kind of weaken. You're seeing what it's doing to assets. And now this is the point where a lot of people are saying this right now. And it's even getting to the point, I even saw a meme about it. I saw a freaking TLT meme of people like laughing. They're like, with the stock market up and TLT being high or bond yields being low, people were tripping out. Even now, commodities, this caught my attention today. I didn't look until I saw the headline because I was like, no way. Silver just hit $27. Gold is going up. Gold, that's one thing, but silver at $27 is pretty insane. Remember, I commented at it at like 22, if you guys remember, a few weeks ago. So this pretty much just tells me, yeah, your dollar is getting weaker, and this is part of it, but now kind of makes sense because why haven't the bonds moved? This is part of bonds reaching a certain real level, or pretty much think about the bond market and how big money is moving. Right now, it is very difficult to really understand even the risk of inflation when purchasing a bond when you don't really even know the longer term risk of what's happening with the virus, the economy, how this is going to play out. But now even just the value of your dollar. literally 2-3 months ago, your dollar was really, really strong. Now it's not. That means a lot for the bond world. So when you're seeing commodities and other stuff move around, even the S&P, this is telling us something. So keep an eye on it. But really what I'm deducing this to is that it's the dollar's going to have its own little wave. Let the dollar kind of have its tantrum, whatever you want to call it. But the dollar's going to weaken. You're going to see its effect on commodities. This is all what I'm expecting to. None of this is a recommendation. This is just my hypothesis. I'm a crazy dude on YouTube. Be careful of all of us crazy dudes on YouTube. Nah, they're actually pretty cool. We love you. But you get what I'm saying. But my thesis, what I'm looking for is the dollar to kind of play out this inflationary cycle, go through its turn, and then once people kind of know what's up with the dollar, how that's going to play out, and it makes sense even with the stimulus bill coming out, bonds and TLT are then going to react afterwards. So kind of meets in line with the timeline, and it could take a while. I mean, it could take a while or it could happen really fast. That is the whole issue with right now, with COVID and what's happening is that it's things that normally move slow just can move fast. We've already seen them move fast. Again, even 2 weeks ago in the bond market, it was a whole different story, even with your mortgage rate. So 2 weeks down to 2 months, 3 months, it's a wild story. So we've been hanging along with it. It takes time. So that's what I'm watching for here. But with the market at all-time highs, this was the first thing that caught my attention after seeing silver and all that. But there's that. The next thing, as far as Congress, the stimulus, anything of that nature, we did get a positive update. Schumer said that they're looking to make a deal. That was like the only comment, and that was it. So it was kind of like a positive note, but it's really the same spot as yesterday, which pretty much puts us on no agreement by the end of this week. So think about how we've been following along with this from Monday. Tomorrow's going to be Thursday. We're kind of getting signals at this, so we'll see coming in the weekend. But the guidance placed on this is starting to look like next week even longer. Watch bonds, everything else, and all that. But the market is still able to react to other stuff, clearly earnings, et cetera, et cetera. But final thing, we saw this after hours, it's moving the stocks now, but job owning. What I mean by that is job owning. See if the president talks about any stimulus or even anybody talks about some sort of stimulus. So it's not really necessarily related to the bill, but after hours, Trump was talking about, he said they might help out the airlines. All the airline stocks are ripping. So something related of that nature, I wouldn't be surprised to see stuff like that. We talked about it yesterday. Watch out for some Middle East tensions to see that scenario or situation I think is still developing. So I'm not writing that off yet. We didn't talk about it too much, but I still have that there. Definitely just watching. It's just, we don't know much and it's a slow situation, but the week's wrapping up. I think it's going to be an interesting week. We're going to get a lot of moves. I'm expecting a bigger day in the cards, even on the upside. We haven't really even seen a blow off on the top end. So we'll see maybe if the SPY and NASDAQ pair up, but should be exciting close to the week. We're already got an exciting week. I hope you guys are ready, but let us get into the plays. So right off the bat, I have 3 or 4 different plays to make. One, WDC, we played a strangle on it. We played both ways on it for earnings. So I have that. This may be a continuation because they dropped and the market wasn't expecting anything. So the option chain was pricing in a $3 move, about 7-8%. And lately, you've seen the market overestimate a lot of stuff in a weird way, even though that premium dropped, but it moved 12%. So the contracts were cheap. If you even checked all the weeklies, even with time, if you weren't out of the money, you got paid. Again, they're going to go up at least 100% tomorrow. I'm expecting, with all depends on how it opens, but I'm going to watch for them on the continuation play like we've played some of the others this week so far, even Disney today. But watch them. I'm going to watch for the airlines coming into the end of the week. I don't like this play at all. I missed it last time with the trades, but lately you've been seeing it. There's exuberance. There's people excited on Wall Street. There's bubbles forming. Even I made a dumb play today. It's kind of like the vaccine stocks. People are just acting crazy. So if this job owning or stimulus is there, I'm going to look to make a day trade on some of these. Or a quick flip swing trade where I could day trade, get my initial investment, and then ride it out. But that's if we get some juice and if the premiums aren't too expensive. So if I'm late to the party or it doesn't look like the move is going to be sustainable and there isn't going to be a lot of hype around it, I'm not going to touch it. So I'm going to keep my eye out for that. Then NVIDIA, related to WDC and all the other chip makers, they have their earnings up. I think they're going to be the last big one of the chip makers. We kind of got an idea of what's happening. We're in that old play. I still like them a lot, but see them this week, see if they have some sort of counter reaction based off of WDC or any of those companies. And then finally, Roku, if it is cheap. So what I mean by Roku being cheap is that the contracts have a lot of premium, but this meets kind of that strategy that we were talking about yesterday. And I said, pay attention to it because it might not work. So it didn't work with Beyond. Beyond was pricing in a lot. They didn't have a continuation move. It's even been another day or so with Chegg. That play did not continue. This hasn't been a continuation at all. Now, it still could take next week, but for the most part, you're not seeing an immediate reaction with them. So it hasn't worked with some of these, but I want to watch because typically Roku is just a little bit more expensive, and so they were pricing in about $17, $18, but they ended up only moving $9. So this isn't really, it looks kind of big, but this wasn't a big move, kind of normal for the stock and how much it's moved. So this might be a play tomorrow. I'm going to look into it. I like the concept and idea, but that is pretty much it. We'll see. And again, now this even relates to the play we made today, Disney. So this is the play we did this morning. I grabbed these within 2 minutes, so we did it pretty early. Again, you guys have been watching. If any of these, we haven't hit as many earnings plays. There just hasn't really been that many opportunities as we've seen, but we talked about Disney, the expectations, all that, and how it's moved. I said I definitely wanted them in the morning, and I ended up grabbing these, but they were at 35 cents, and I got them really expensive. We grabbed 3 of these August 14th, so I got the next week's. They had a pretty nice run and a sustained run. You could see it, but most of the contracts, I got in at 35 cents or 30 cents. Yeah, I got in at 35. I got in really, really high, actually, because I did it early. That's why you could see those first 2 minutes. You could even see it through the chart. That first 5-minute window, I was in as one of the highest orders. So I kept it pretty small. I bought 3 of them, spent about $115 or $105. And then it went up, it shot up with the stock as it made the continuation move. I only sold 1 back for 103, got my initial investment back. I'm still holding the other 2. They dropped, but it's worth like $80 now. Has till next week if Disney keeps going. I like this move so far. Again, if the market goes up and does kind of good, we could get some good, it could be good. And this is a lot of volume too. I like it so far. So this is a big level for Disney, or now it's kind of back to there. So if it continues, I'm still going to watch that play. The plays are a little bit expensive. If it does get cheaper, I might want to double dip, but just give this one time. Play's already done. Again, there's already a premium. So that was the play we made. And then finally, PBYI. This one, we snaked the chain. It was pretty crazy to see. We saw a very, very bad market order follow up. That's why you got to be careful. But this is what I was even saying earlier with that. This play was stupid, just in the sense that even the news, my logic behind it, I thought this was just going to be a vaccine play. So I know Puma, they're pretty much a failed biotech. That's why I was like, well, if it's popping and popping on that size, you guys got to realize if it got halted and I was able to get in before, you could tell that this was like a 20% move or something. Pretty much in one candle, it got a little bit of that juice before, but it was a huge candle. So you could even see, I put my limit order at 30 cents. I was willing to spend $300, but it was a really, really illiquid chain. I was the only one on it, and I got filled at 9 cents. So I ended up spending only $90. It got halted, came down. I tried, my order expired. So then somebody came in and got filled at $3.50 after. So I was like, well, I wanted to see, and this is a good lesson. You could even see supply and demand at its finest. Those trades came in at $3.50. I was like, all right, well, let me see if I could get $2 for it then. I just bought these at 9 cents. I tried to sell 1 back at $2. And I never canceled this. I put that trade in literally seconds after, and it never got filled. Nobody was willing to buy at that price. It just wasn't there. I was hoping it would sustain and go up, but it didn't. It ended up coming down, but I'm still in that play. I actually think it's still up like 200, 300%, but it's not the same as what I thought it was going to be, but it ended up coming down. This was off like no news. I don't even know the news. It was like some random filing that made them pop. I thought they were just going to be like a vaccine Kodak revival, but apparently not. But there's that. I think that's pretty much it. Again, watch NVIDIA is the follow-up to WDC. Watch Etsy. They reported again, Roku and all the other companies that we had today. The airlines will be interesting. Then SLV. This one I might want to sell premium on, but that silver thing really, really caught my attention. TLT, I'm going to wait on it a little bit, but with all this stuff moving, GLD and SLV may be one, but I think there's a lot of premium in there, so I might even want to start selling premium. And I said I want to tomorrow, so I might look towards the GLD SLV area. So we got over the hump day. It should be an exciting Thursday. I hope you guys are ready. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're hydrated, healthy, ready to go. Make sure you post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. I need you to control what you could control, baby. And if you can't control it, you got to stay chill. You can't control the cash balance. You could control the budget. You can't blow up an account if you have a cash balance. Think about it. You can't blow up an account if you don't put the whole account in. Control it, baby. But the cult loves you. I love you. I'm going to see you in the morning. Let's go.